VWAP is actually a very powerful tool that traders use to spot high probability trades and different kinds of setup. Ever wondered how professional traders find the perfect entry and exit points? There's this one tool they use and it's called VWAP. And today we are breaking it down in the simplest way possible, whether you are trading stocks, cryptos or futures. So hey guys, my name is Fahad. I'm from Bitcoin Hitpoint and let's just dive into this particular topic. VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. It's a trading indicator. As you can see on my screen, the blue line which you see is called as VWAP, and this particular trading indicator helps us to understand the average price an asset has been trading at, basically a adjusted volume. So think of it as a fair price benchmark. So institutions are using this to execute their large orders, and us traders, we are using it to identify the trend and then trade with it. So how is VWAP calculated? I would suggest before we deep dive into the strategy part, let's first understand how VWAP is actually calculated, right? So VWAP is a very simple equation. VWAP equals to price multiplied by volume and then divided by total volume. But before you panic, do not worry. You don't have to calculate this manually. Your trading platform like TradingView, or if you're using any other, will do it for you by themselves. So you do not have to do any manual calculation. But knowing how it works actually helps, right? So VWAP takes the total value traded for an asset and divides it by the total volume. This helps us to see where the true average price is, right? So let me give you a few examples. How are we supposed to use VWAP? In which conditions do they work, and in which conditions you should avoid using, right? So I would suggest VWAP work the best in a trend, right? So if a market is in the range bound scenarios, I would recommend to not use VWAP because it's not the best case scenario for using it. But if there's a clear trend which you can identify on your screen, on your charts, I suggest VWAP works the best in them. So if you can identify that the price is making a clear uptrend, every time you lose VWAP, this can be the best buying opportunities for you. And this I would recommend for risky traders only. Traders who can go for higher risk. If you are someone who cannot go for higher risk, I would say every time you lose VWAP in an uptrend, just wait for a strong closing above the VWAP and that will be your entry and SL goes below this, right? So even in swing trades, if you are on a bigger time frame, I would still recommend wait for the candles to close. So you enter above the VWAP and then your SL goes below the VWAP wherever the price action was. Now this was about particular trend, right? So you can clearly see here, price goes below the VWAP, traps all the sellers and then get back above it. It goes below the VWAP, traps all the sellers and then goes back above it, right? So it's a clear indication that this is one of the tools that works best in a trendy market. In a range bound market, it's not that accurate, even though it works, but I personally use it in a range bound market only. So this is what it looks like in an uptrend. If we had to check out how you are supposed to use it in a downtrend, here is an example for that. So you can clearly see the Bitcoin price is dumping, right? But every time we come at VWAP, we reject right from it. So this is your first rejection. There goes your second rejection, the third one, fourth one, fifth one. Literally all the rejections in this particular downtrend were right from the VWAP. But I would highly recommend to not use VWAP as a only entry trigger. Always add at least 2 more confidence around your VWAP to get into a better trade. So in a downtrend market, every time your price reaches VWAP, this is where you can be looking for shorting opportunities. But as I said, you should always have some more confidence to go with VWAP because this can be most probably a trap as well. VWAP is a tool that actually helps you understand what is the best price to get into a trade. And now these are something which are not backed by any data but just by my personal experience. I will tell you guys, every time the price reaches your VWAP, I would always say that do not just randomly short or long if the price is reaching VWAP. Always wait for price to give a fake out above your level, which is VWAP here, and then wait for it to get inside the zone which is below your VWAP, and then look for a shorting opportunities, because the best kind of moves always comes after trapping the traders. So this is the liquidity which will fuel your downtrend. So you always want to see some of the trap traders. Now to understand about where the traders are getting trapped, you can be using order flow and such other smart tools. If you want to understand about how order flow works, how footprint works, you can always check out the live stream that we have been doing on this channel, because I do try to explain as much as possible. I personally use footprints and order flow a lot, and that is why I do talk about them as well. And you can check out the live stream if you want to learn more about them. VWAP VWAP also act as a support and resistance level, just as how we have been checking it out, how every time in a downtrend your VWAP works as an resistance and in an uptrend it works as a support level. So you should always consider these levels for entries and even for exits as well. For me personally, if I enter at the bottom of a price action, for me VWAP can always be a good place for TP1, which is take profit 1, right? So every time I go long from the bottom, I'll always look to TP1 at the VWAP and then wait for a continuation towards the upside. The best kind of continuation trade according to me are when you enter at the bottom and price is able to reclaim VWAP, then backtest it. If you are able to enter at the bottom, that's fine, but if not, then backtest of VWAP is the best kind of opportunity for you to get into a continuation trade. So now here is a quick tip for everyone who has been watching this video. I'll just summarize it for you. Always use VWAP in a trend continuation market only, right? Wait for a reaction at VWAP before entering. Combine it with price action for better accuracy. Do not assume each touch of VWAP is a trade signal. This way you can be avoiding over trading as well. Just because price is near VWAP, that does not mean you are supposed to trade. And this is a clear example. Every time a market is range bound, VWAP is not the best kind of area to be looking to trade at. Now here are some of my final thoughts about VWAP. VWAP is actually a very powerful tool that traders use to spot high probability trades and different kinds of setup. It helps them with trend identification, entries and exit, but like any strategy, it takes practice. Test it out on a demo account before you start trading with this kind of strategy. Always backtest them, always try to combine it with your current strategy and see how the accuracy looks like. So if you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more trading tips and comment below if you use VWAP in your strategy.